acrylic or gel? This is a topic that comes up time and time again. What's right for you? What should you have in the salon? I've got Greg Salo here with me today to talk about this topic right now on the Biz Talk. Acrylic or gel, Habib or Greg. The second one, always Habib. Always Habib. Okay, if you have to pick between the brothers, you're going to go with me.
Vote for orange.
Vote for orange. Is that your favorite color, bro? That's not your favorite color.
No.
No, you match with the chair, though. It's a little weird, but kind of works.
Kind of weird, huh?
Kind of weird, but
you can
works.
only see my head.
That's it, dude. You totally blend in with the couch. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you see what I'm talking about. Okay, acrylic and gel. Dude, we hear this all the time, right? We hear it in comments. We hear it at trade shows, classes. What should I use? We see a difference even in our classes, how they fill up. And the waves of like sometimes gel, acrylic.
3 years ago, it was all gel.
It was all gel. Right now,
all acrylic.
Right now, it's all acrylic. Yeah. Exactly, which is interesting. But let me ask you this question first and foremost: is there a like definite black and white answer? You should use acrylic, or you should use gel. Is it black and white like that in your opinion?
No.
Okay. And why?
Because it depends on the circumstance.
Okay.
Depends on your environment. And what I mean by that, you could be in a building where you have other tenants and the smell of acrylic is literally going through the ventilation, getting all over the place. And your neighbors are literally complaining to management that the whole entire building smells like acrylic.
Right. That's a problem.
I remember when I was teaching in Japan years ago, like most of the salons there, like they don't use acrylic because everything is so small and so tight,
super tight.
You know, it's like you have a grocery store right next to a nail salon. You know, you remember? I mean,
I
everything
remember,
is
bro.
so tiny and tight.
Totally.
You know, it just, and that's why gel literally blew up there.
Right.
Here in the States, a little bit different. It's not black and white because, again, it's really the same exact thing. And again, you could be in a salon that has plenty of space. You can be in a salon that has the right environment, and your customers might not like
the smell.
That smell.
Right.
And again, it all depends on ventilation.
Right.
It all depends on what you're offering. And again, I am speaking from my experience and what I've heard and what I've worked with over the years. I love acrylic.
Yeah.
Acrylic is so amazing. There's so much versatility to it, you know.
Well, let's jump into that. So, okay, I like what you said, you know, situation is important. Some people, environment, like you find a space, you're going to go in, maybe acrylic's not an option, you got to learn gel. That's real life.
Correct.
That's reality. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's talk about the actual differences between acrylic and gel. You like acrylic. I know you do both, like phenomenal. You've had to learn both. But why? What is it about acrylic that's so versatile? What do you mean by that?
So acrylic air dries. You
Right.
need a monomer, which is the nail liquid, and you need a polymer, which is the powder. And you have to be able to use both to create a polymerization.
Right.
It's a chain reaction that creates a clay-like consistency that turns from wet to solid within 4 to 5 minutes.
Right.
And
Right.
can be filed into shape.
Right.
Gel is an oligomer.
Right.
Right. So it's
or the monomer and it's already like combined.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's
like a pre-mixed product.
Totally.
And
without the smell.
And you need a UV light to initiate that chain reaction to create a cure.
Right.
Cure is way faster. It's softer to file. It's easier to especially with our new tubes.
Applicators, right?
Yeah, the new applicators makes it a lot easier. But
you
know, there are two different things. You can soak acrylic off. You cannot soak a hard gel off.
Right.
There are gels that you can soak off, but that's more, again, catered to color and gel polish.
So let me stop you real quick, because I think that's really interesting. You said you can soak acrylic off, you can't soak gel off, but are we really going to ever soak acrylic off?
No, it just takes, and again, there's a rare time you do. Your maintenance skills should be that good where you don't depend on a solvent to get the product off. You have to depend on your skills to get it off.
And you're merely pointing out, like, look, these are the actual like chemical differences.
Correct.
You could soak off acrylic. Like it would break down with acetone versus gel is not.
And
hard gel.
I'll give you a perfect example. I've done many photo shoots, and the models I had to work on, they're hand models. So they couldn't wear. They had to have the product taken off immediately after I did the set. So what I would do is I would try to file the majority off, and then whatever remaining balance, it would be a very, very little on their natural nail. I would soak that for a very little amount of time. That way it's really easy to get off the nail.
To remove off.
Correct. But I'm not gonna wrap it or put it in a bowl of acetone. And then
you're gonna sit here for 87 hours, and we'll see you in 2 days.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure some of you guys out there have tried soaking it off, especially if you have a client that you've never had before, and you try to get it off, and they take it out of the bowl. You're like, bruh, I ain't moving.
Which is why we teach proper removal with electric file, safe, healthy, all of that.
It's all about skills,
right?
Right. Now here's a circumstance, right? If someone came in and they were, say, a new client and they had bitten nails. Okay. So the ideal product to work with in that situation would be acrylic.
Right.
And I like to compare it to somebody who has a broken arm. If someone has a broken arm, you're not going to set it with a soft sling. You have to set it with a hard cast in order to get the bone back into place.
Right.
And it's the same thing with a nail that's wide, flat, splayed, whatever you want to say. You can recast that nail so the growth channels grow straight.
Got it.
Because you can pinch the acrylic.
Right. It's flexible like that while it's in the drying phase.
While it's in the drying phase. And then once you can get the growth channels to grow straight, it's funny that you can maintain it with either acrylic or gel. And then get the natural nail actually to flourish into a nice, healthy structure. It takes time, but the go-to product in that situation would be acrylic.
So what if somebody's let's go through a scenario where in the beginning you said there's a situation could prevent you from using acrylic. Let's say somebody has that situation. They can't use acrylic. A nail biter comes in. They offer gel. How do you maneuver that? What would you do?
I mean, if you don't have a choice, then what you would have to do is it would take a little bit longer because you would actually have to put the form on the nail. You would have to build the tip out. You would have to get the light over it, pinch it because you have about a 6 to 9 second window to get the free edge to cure. There's that little flexibility before you can't move it at all.
Right.
It's a lot harder process because
you could do
it. It definitely can do it. It just takes longer. There's more work involved, not like acrylic where you could just get the tip on. And let me make this clear. Gel and acrylic, they work really well together, especially if you're doing certain types of services.
Sure.
You could build with acrylic and you could fill with gel.
Right.
And the reason why is because acrylic is porous.
Right.
On the other hand, if you were doing a gel nail and you were to fill it with acrylic, it's a little bit different because it's a non-porous type of structure.
Right.
But they do work really well.
Okay. I think it's really interesting when people are coming out of school.
Yep.
And the question that we get is, should I learn acrylic? Should I learn gel? Yep. I know my perspective as a beginner, where I would go, which I'll talk about, but your recommendation to somebody, let's go with like what you should learn first, and then ultimately in your career, what type of like skills you should have. So in the beginning, if somebody had if they had a choice and you wanted to guide them, what direction would you give them?
My honest opinion,
your opinion,
would be gel.
Okay.
And the reason why is because it's not limited to just one thing. Gel is so broad. The spectrum goes from builder gels to gel color to gel paints, and with all of these products, it's kind of crazy how many services you could offer.
Totally.
Also, this is really important. If you start off as a gel tech and you learn to control gel with your brush, it's a great asset to have when you go to acrylic with a gel-like touch. Because I feel that a lot of people that start off with acrylic, they're too heavy-handed.
Sure.
And what ends up happening is they end up making a lot of mistakes because they're not used to. Again, it's all muscle control, right? Your dexterity, your hand muscles, and everything. And a lot of people that start off with acrylic, they're a little bit too heavy-handed.
Dude, totally, bro.
And it gets all over the place. It gets frustrating, all over the cuticles, blah,
so,
blah, 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 blah.
You'd say with gel, there's probably a shorter learning curve.
100%.
Yeah, I see. That's really interesting, dude. I honestly thought you were going to say acrylic just because you love acrylic so much. But this is what I love is like you love acrylic, but it doesn't matter that you love acrylic. You're thinking about what's good for a beginner.
Correct.
And I can tell you, sitting with Greg and Tracy and doing all those Pro Teaches Beginner series, when I got the precision applicator tubes, bro, in my hand, I was able to sculpt a freaking stiletto. Correct. It took me a long time, but I could do the damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
And like that learning curve, dude, for me to get into nails was so much faster, bro. Like get it down. And what you said, learning to be kind of light on my touch.
Correct.
And then move into acrylic that's exactly how I would go.
You know, if you had the ability to do both really well, then you're going to be that nail ninja that everybody is going to seek out.
Totally.
You will be you will be indestructible.
So in someone's career, over the long term, you recommend, look, you got to learn, you should learn both.
Because it's not going to be a valuable asset to the services that you offer. You are going to be able to offer so many different services. And I'm talking everything ranging from extensions to color, natural overlays, to dipping as well. Because that's a very powerful technique and is very popular. And if you understand how to use those products, again, you're talking... 5th degree black belt and nail ninja, bro.
Dude, so this is what I love. Like when we're shooting videos, and I'm shooting with Greg and Tracy, and well, actually, I'm not shooting anymore. I just realized I have to get used to that because I'm used to shooting the videos, but I'm not shooting anymore. Victoria's doing it.
Victoria.
Yeah. When Victoria's shooting the videos, I need to correct that. Now, when I'm talking to Greg and Tracy about what videos we want to do, it's like sky's the limit. We can do there's not one thing I could say and they go, no, because they're literally like 5th degree black belts, they can do it all. And why that's important is if a client walks in the door, a new client, just like you said, bro, depending on their situation, you may need to go acrylic or gel or this or that, or like, let's say they want some crazy nail art, but they want it blinging with dimension. You want to go gel, right? They got crazy nail bites on their little nubs.
Little nail bites on your nubs.
Nail bites on
nubs.
Got bites on nubs. You want to maybe start with acrylic. Options. You want to have options, right?
You do. And the more options you have, the more services you can offer. And I'm not saying you need to offer everything and say, I do it all and you're going to get it all. You only really need to specialize in just one thing, really, to separate yourself from everybody else.
Totally.
I truly believe that a lot of people, but it doesn't hurt to know everything because things change.
Yeah. For sure.
Right. There's so many people that were doing gel regularly. When gel polish came on the market, it was hot. It was like everyone was doing gel polish, gel polish, gel polish. Everyone's still doing it. But do we ever believe that acrylic was going to make a storm like it's doing right now?
Insane right now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know what's a good sort of example too is our Hawaiian mentor, Melissa De La Cruz. I mean, she used to be hardcore. I mean, she does everything, right?
Correct.
But acrylic.
She was hardcore acrylic.
But I mean, a lot, I don't know. I might be speaking out.
All gel.
It's gel, right?
Yeah, she has one acrylic client now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is.
So that's a really interesting development that's happened in her career. She's learned both. She goes gel now, but she can still do acrylic.
Oh,
that's
really well.
Really well. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Let us know what you think. This is kind of a hot topic. Do you go acrylic? Do you go gel? What's your preference? Do you have a situation that prevents you from using acrylic and so you use gel? How do you deal with nail biters? So interested to know. Thank you, Greg, for joining us today. And with that, say thank you very much. We'll see you next week on the Biz Talk.